Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be making a fall card using some of the elements from the Simon Says stamp kit that I just got the other day. And I'm going to start off by using some clear embossing powder, clear embossing pad from Simon Says stamp. And I'm going to ink that up, my stamp up a couple of times. And I'm using Canson watercolor paper because I'm going to be using my Zig markers to color this in. So it's going to get a nice good image on there using some superfine wow black embossing powder. I'm going to cover this image, heat set it, and then I will start coloring with my Zig markers. For my colors, I just picked out some things, some fall colors that I thought would look nice together. And I saw some of this exact type of boot online, and it was blue. And I thought it was a really cool looking boot. So I decided to color mine kind of similar to that because I kind of want them. But anyway, the colors for the boots are, I used dull blue is the top and deep blue is the bottom part. The deep blue kind of looks purplish, so now that I'm looking at it again, I probably would use a different blue for the bottom. But the dull blue is pretty close to the ones I saw online. For the leggings, I'm using deep brown for the shadows and beige for the legging itself. For the leaves, I'm using, I want to say that's bright yellow and orange. Then for the green, I'm going to use olive green and a mid green. I also use a red. I just use deep red for some of the red leaves. And the other brown that I use for some more leaves and stems and the little dots all over the paper is brown and light brown. I think those are the only colors that I use on this image. Now for the image, this image came from Unity Stamp Company, and it's part of their monthly Kit of the Month Club. I got that for years. I don't get it anymore, so I don't have any of their newest fall images. This is one of the old ones. I can't even really tell you what year this is from, but it's probably like 2014, maybe 2015, because that's when I was getting the kits. Love their images, love their sentiments, just don't get enough opportunity to use them, so I just stopped getting the kits. But they have some great stuff if you want to check them out. The sentiment is also a Unity sentiment, and the background stamp that I'm going to be using with the Yupo paper and the alcohol ink is one of theirs as well. And it's a real pretty, just kind of a scattering of leaves that I thought would be perfect for the alcohol ink, because I don't want a ton of stuff back there since we have this image in the front, but I wanted to play around with the kit and what it came with. I did watch a couple of videos to try and not totally mess up, because they don't give you a lot of this Yupo paper and I don't have any more of it, so I didn't want to waste it by messing stuff up. So I watched a couple of videos, and I'm going to use a few of the different techniques that I saw on the video after I cut out my image with a stitched rectangle die, and then just set that aside and start working on the Yupo paper. So that paper right there is it. And the alcohol lift ink and the stamp that you see off to the side, the little scattering of leaves, is the Unity stamp background leaf stamp. I'm going to use two of the inks that came in the kit this month and one from my own stash. I used to make my own charms, and I would use the alcohol ink on the metal paper, but I don't do that anymore, so I have the ink left over, and it still works great. And let me tell you, that ink is years old, so this stuff just doesn't ever go bad as long as you don't leave the cap off. So I'm using, here I'm using the orange that came in the kit, Sunset Orange, the yellow, which was Sunshine Yellow, and that one is mine, that's Cranberry. And I didn't know what to do, so I added some blending solution because I saw some people online do that. And it just adds these like circles everywhere, and I didn't like it. So I took a straw because I saw that, and I just started moving it around the paper, just trying to get rid of the circles basically. Then I come back in and I add some more ink, and since I had to cut all that out because I stuck my big old head in the way, so you wouldn't have seen what I was doing anyways. And now I'm just going to let it kind of dry, and I don't want it to get too dry because I do want to use the foil paper after I lift the leaves off of the background. So I'm just going to ink up my stamp with the lift ink, and I'm just going to go around the paper. Every time I take it off the paper, I wipe it off before I re-ink it again, and then I come back and just stamp all the way around. And if you notice, a couple of times the stamp kind of slid a little bit, so you got to be kind of careful using this paper because it is pretty slippery paper. It's real easy to just push too hard on your stamp and have it fly across the paper and ruin your background. So just be aware of that when you're playing with this. Now I'm going to take the foil. I'm just going to kind of burnish it on with a paper towel, and you can't really see it very well, but it did work. But there just isn't enough sticky parts on the page left because I waited too long. I think if I had done it a little bit faster, I probably could have got a lot more of that on there. But it kind of looks like a copper vein running through the middle. Real pretty, sparkly, came out great. I love it no matter what. The next step is you want to dab off with a clean paper towel all of the places where you put the lift ink. If you start rubbing it now, or, buffing it now, you're just going to buff the ink around. You need to lift it off and make sure that it's clean before you actually start buffing the paper. And then you can see once you start rubbing on top of where the lift ink is, you can see the Yupo paper from underneath start coming through the image, and it looks marvelous. I love it. I think that these backgrounds are standalone. They don't even need anything on them other than throw a sentiment on there and they're good to go. But I had already worked so hard on my pretty little watercolor paper that I decided that I was going to finish it. So I'm just going to cut this out using the stitched rectangle die, and I'm going to pop up my watercolor image with some foam tape and set it right in the middle, where you can't even see my foil paper anymore, but oh well. So that sentiment off to the side, and all at once summer collapsed into fall, I thought was perfect for this card, but there was nowhere to put it. So I'm going to end up using it on the inside. And for the outside, I went and grabbed a hello die. It's a lawn fawn die from my stash, cut it out 4 or 5 times, and then I just glued them all together and then glued it down to my paper. Now I'm just going to flip over my panel and tape it, and then I'm going to attach it to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding card base. And I picked white just because I thought any other color would take away from all the colorful panel. So now I'm just going to attach my little saying on the inside. It's not really a sentiment, it's a saying, and that will complete my card. So I want to thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And I am working on the two-way slider video right now. I should have it up hopefully before the end of the week. So if anybody wants to try that out, it should be there. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Have a great week. Bye-bye.